What is up, you guys? I hope everybody is doing well. We're here for our midweek reading where we're looking at our alchemy message. Basically, this is going to be telling us, giving us guidance as to how we should be approaching the process, or, it's like we get the lessons in the anchor message on Monday, and then we go deeper into like the details of the assignment with the alchemy message. So we have the 10 days of repentance going on. These are this is the bridge of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where Rosh Hashanah is the seed level, where we manifest the seed level for the whole year and we're getting a new soul. And then we have this period in between where the soul is sort of like initiated and tested one dimension of consciousness at a time. There's 10 dimensions altogether. And then on Yom Kippur, that's when we like seal in all the light and manifest our basically ruling for the year. And we manifest like our spiritual bank account, our spiritual credit, so to speak. So the week following Yom Kippur is called Sukkot. And so if we can stay extra like happy and joyous and grateful and just have like laughter and gratitude during that week, then we can turbocharge our manifestations. This is like the gasoline, the juice that's going to fuel like your fervor and, gusto and grit for the year. And it's going to fuel your manifestations. It's going to fuel your rockets of desire, as Abraham Hicks would say. So all very exciting. Now, if you want to follow my TikTok, Liz_Taylor_Magick, this week I've been posting each day the energy of what day is associated with. So Monday was mercy. So if you were challenged, you were probably challenged and blessed with both sides of the energy, where it was probably difficult to show mercy to yourself and others on Monday, but you were given opportunities to like overcome those challenges and be extra merciful. Maybe you experienced mercy on Monday. Maybe you needed mercy on Monday. So think about that. How did that go? Depending on how well you kind of embodied and integrated and worked with that energy, that is going to kind of depict the kind of energy that you have set up for yourself. It's like the infrastructure that you created for the Mondays for the rest of the year. Tuesday was an energy that is like, it's called Gevura. And so it's about the strong soldier that defends the kingdom, in a light way that is, setting healthy boundaries, speaking your truth or standing up for yourself, speaking up for a cause you believe in, or fighting against injustice, or, fighting for a good cause, fighting the good fight, defending the kingdom, making sure that everyone's taken care of, using your strength to build and create and protect and provide for. Also making really decisive actions and decisions, like taking that swift swing of the sword without hesitation and without second guessing the self, or like taking it back. It's like that clean cut, making a clean break, making a clean ending. No indecision, no hesitance, killer instinct, but for good. The dark side of that can be domineering, forceful, angry, tyrannical, controlling, judgmental, harsh, severe. So that was yesterday's energy. Today's has been the word Tiferet, which is the Christ center. It's this heart awakening that's been going on today. And, some of the other readers have been talking about it too. And I don't know if they're aware of the 10 days of repentance. Green was a great color to work with today. I feel like tomorrow as well, but there's a real heart opening going on, and we'll talk about it more in today's reading. But the Tiferet energy is the Christ center. It's the Messiah. It's the Redeemer. It's where all of these like higher realm, elevated supernal consciousnesses and higher levels of God energy are integrated and redeemed, so that they're put in a package that human consciousness can receive and accept. So the Messiah is the Savior. The Messiah is healer energy. It's transcending the ego. So today would have had themes of like surrendering the ego to the care of the higher self, you know, letting those ego shells and layers melt away for the sake of, you know, purity and oneness and unity, forgiveness, redemption, you know, death and resurrection, the promise of eternity and healing, you know, it's forgiveness, mercy, favor, all of those Christ themes. Also, you know, the laying down of the self, the sacrifice, the Eucharist, breaking of the flesh for the sake of the other. So it's all about building the vessel for the sake of sharing and learning how to be a better vessel for the light. So, and then the other theme today was beauty. It was like to be able to see the beauty even amidst pain and uncertainty, which we've talked about earlier this week in some of the other videos about the concept of being face to face with the Creator, being able to recognize the Creator in the moment, you know, not faced with the Creator's back as the Creator walks away, like just after the fact, you know, it's too late, like, oh, I wasn't in the presence of the Creator. But in the midst of the storm, if you can see the face of the Creator, even in that, it's like you have this awe and you're there and you're present for it. So tomorrow will be a new energy and we will talk about that then. And I will try to post that TikTok video as early as I can during the morning. So it's ready to go. Okay, so our cards from the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck are Chiron, followed by Saturn, followed by the reddening. Underneath Chiron, we've got 3 of Pentacles. Underneath Saturn, we've got 4 of Pentacles. And underneath reddening, we have the High Priestess. So I'm not feeling very decisive about whether or not I should read the oracle cards from the book and then unpack the message, or just unpack the message first and then we'll finish with reading the book and then we'll make those correlations. I think that's what we'll do. So Chiron, Saturn, and the reddening. So Chiron, or maybe I should do it this way because it was like the fingers were pointing at Saturn. Okay, Chiron is actually the wounded healer, but the abandoned son of Saturn. Saturn is the father of the cosmos, who is said to devour his own children. The disciplinary, the strict, you know, stern structure, you know, fathers here, like, have you been acting up kind of thing. Saturn rules Capricorn, who's said to be the grandfather of the zodiac, the father of the zodiac. It's like this old soul and spirit, but this mature, grounded, masculine energy of being practical and knowing how to build foundation and structure and having sound and healthy structure and foundation and building security and being devoted and disciplined and continuing to show up and being consistent and reliable. It's like reliability, being responsible, very earthy energy, very grounded, very able to follow through and embody, right? Chiron is this healing energy that is deeply connected with our tikkun process. Basically, one of the main soul purpose kind of healing contracts that we have in this life. So there's this huge like healing going on, you know, during this particular Rosh Hashanah was bigger and deeper and more powerful than other years. It fell on a Shabbat. The first day of Rosh Hashanah fell on Shabbat. That was a big deal. It meant there was extra power, extra energy, extra protection over the Shabbat. which means that this year can be deeply and amazingly and abundantly blessed. So much healing, but also it may come with some challenge and intensity too. But we have extra protection and extra support. So, you know, that pressure creates diamonds. Notice, you know, how we have this pearl here, this golden pearl. It's golden pearl here, and this golden pearl here. For me, this is like the embodiment of the wisdom. That here is the key to the healing, right? Healing what has been, you know, where we have had problems having the discipline of and the structure, right? And being able to embody like our spiritual lessons to have this like up leveling of the self, and then be able to finally like up level that consciousness, and then be able to follow through with our actions as well. So healing those Saturn themes, you know, treating our time with respect, right? The Saturn energy is sort of connected to that ticking clock of, you know, we have a finite amount of time in each life, in each carnation, to do the work, to do this process, to elevate our soul and transcend our ego. And it's like, once we're not in this life anymore, we don't get to elevate our soul. It's like we have the soul and we have the consciousness that we have. It's like we need this physical plane as a playing field to work together and to work with each other and to heal and to butt up against one another and live out these contracts, these soul contracts. So very, very interesting. And so then here the reddening, we've got the pearl again, the golden pearl, and the silver pearl over here, the masculine and the feminine, the renewal, the kundalini, the shedding of the old, and the birth of something new here with the snake. And so this reddening, this is like the pulse of blood rushing into something. It talks about climax. It talks about the culmination of a lesson learned, you know, the flush of blood and life force into something. So this is about like the healing of the soul that we're going through right now. Like this is really in alignment with everything that we've also been talking about on this channel for the last 2 years, about like shedding the old identity and the old life completely and moving forward in like jumping timelines into a whole new reality. And the Kabbalah Center, it's like all of their lectures were like, it's not just like we're having a better year than last year, we're like having a better version of ourselves. It's like a whole new thing, like that we can't even, it's like we can't even imagine. It's not just a better version of ourselves, it's a whole new story that we couldn't expect to write, right? So this Three of Pentacles, the threes are like base camp 1. If you take the tarot or numerology and you break it into, you know, multiples of 3, it's like you have 1 through 3 is the first stage of completion in any one of the given suits. 4 through 6 is stage 2 of completion in the suits. And then 7 through 10, it's like 9 is the end of the cycle, and then 10 is like the overflow and the culmination and the beginning of the new. It's like the end and the beginning of the new. So the Three of Pentacles, it talks about like beginning to build and seeing like building a skill, or having like learned something, like embodying like the healing, right? This is the way I see this right now. Like sometimes this is literally like if you have a skill or a craft, this is like when you've started to really start to hone in on that, and people are starting to recognize that. And they're like, oh, I appreciate this person's vision. I appreciate their artistry. I appreciate their craftsmanship. Now I want to work with them. I see the value in what they're doing. And it's like people that are like-minded, or they're sharing a vision, that they collaborate. And so this healing here, it's like healing even amidst the collaborators, right? The people that we have these soul contracts with. It's like these like-minded and like people in our soul family and that soul tribe and those soul groups that we have these things and these experiences play out with. It's like these things are we're beginning to heal these patterns, basically. And so we're beginning to build now with new bricks, new consciousness, a new foundation. So it's like we're starting to begin the process of building our life now based on this new healed self, this new like elevated consciousness, with also bringing in opportunities and individuals and friends and, you know, influences and all kinds of things and resources and collaborators and teachers that are going to be of the same vibration. They're going to have affinity with the new you and the new life you're building. Okay, so this healing is going to help us get past what's been holding us out of our ultimate desire and fulfillment. Like, see this character here? This is kind of a lot of things going on. She's holding on to this small, limited version of her dream, but she's locked out of going into the real house. Like, I see her almost as being on the outside of the gate from going into the real the real house, the real gift that awaits, because she's trying to be too controlling or whatever. This character trying to hold on to the illusion of control instead of surrendering and opening to the endless possibility and potential of like divine plan, right? The same is reversed, where this can be a closing off of the heart chakra to keep others out. And so it's like, here, I'll show you this version of what's going on, but I'm not going to let you in. And so it can also be an attempt to control for the sake of like protecting the self. I have almonds in my teeth. Like, as always, I should not eat almonds right before going on camera, but I always feel like they're like in my teeth. But so I just sucked some out of my teeth, sorry. Gross. So yeah, so we're in this situation here. Now, as the heart chakra is healing and opening again, it's like at the same time we're beginning, like with our healing with Saturn, starting to establish, like, it's like our old false senses of security and our old, like, we clung to these false illusions of like control, right? That gave us these false senses of security that weren't real. They were faulty structures. They were faulty foundations. And so now with this healing, it's like we're really laying new, clean, solid, sturdy foundations. We're building, you know, new infrastructures. Literally, we were just talking about how, like, spiritually, how we show up this week is literally laying the infrastructure for the electricity to flow through to flow the light through your life this year. So we're building these new infrastructures, right? And they're going to be manifest through the way that we show up in our life. We're going to open our heart chakra. We're going to have more creativity and divine inspiration flowing through. It's going to result in more security and more stability and more like fertility in your creative mind. Not just being able to like imagine fun things, but being able to clearly visualize, like hold your vision and actually begin to create that through your creator power, right? Beginning with your thoughts and then manifesting that verbally and so on and so forth. So yes, healing Saturn. My Saturn was in reverse or in retrograde when I was born. And so I've always had a very strict and stern relationship with Saturn. It's been very hard on me. So this message was very welcome to me today. It was like, hey, you've made your peace with Saturn. So it's like lesson is learned. There's this, with this opening of the heart chakra, it's like this flush of like desire and fire and, you know, invigoration and passion is like coming through again, and it's reinvigorating. And I think that there's this merging of like the sacred union of the divine feminine within the self, which is the high priestess, the connection to the Holy Spirit, the connection to that intuition, the subconscious, like having a prophetic understanding of symbolism and, you know, having like vivid and powerful dreams, connections with the moon. It's like your creativity, your womb and your sexual organs and like where you create and gestate life from. your desire, right? Like all of those things, your healthy lust, your shadow lust, your shame is held there. It's all there. So the high priestess is associated with that second chakra. See the ocean and the ship like going, you know, it's like this vessel beneath the surface. Like what's driving you? What's steering the ship? And it's like, as we unblock this heart chakra, as we create this stable connection with divine inspiration, it's like we'll have this clearer direction and guidance coming through. And we'll have more ability to like lean in and relax and have peace and rest and trust in where our divine guidance is taking us and leading us, and where our soul is drawing us, and where that desire is leading us, because we've been healing. And so it's like that desire is getting more, it's like recalibrating like a compass, and it's starting to point more towards our true north. And we can trust our intuition. And it's like there's something that is not yet revealed, or something that's still hidden, but what is hidden will be revealed. See this like partial moon here? It's like, it's in a state of becoming. It's waxing. We're in the waxing cycle now, and we're like working toward the culmination of it's not the full moon on Yom Kippur, but that's halfway through our waxing cycle. And then the full moon is actually on Sukkot. So that is the full culmination of the Rosh Hashanah season. Okay, let's start with Chiron from the book. Oh, I also wanted to point out before we go further that like, okay, so this is that like divine feminine, divine feminine, and divine masculine coming into union within the self, within the psyche. It's like that divine feminine is that divine inspiration and that connection with source, and that connection with the soul realm, and it doesn't have to be logical, right? And then the masculine is the ability to take action based on that, and give and share, and take that inspiration and share it and give it to others. I thought it was also interesting, so that we have like the pearls of wisdom being embodied, but also the mudras here. I was thinking the other day, I actually was talking to myself and thinking, peace, instead of being like this, it should have actually been like this, because this is separation and this is unity. Separation, healing, unity. I don't know what the thumb connected means and the thumb not connected means, but I thought that that was really unusual. Also, this can have to do with like child and parent healing, like getting over that wound of abandonment, right? But I thought that the mudra was very interesting. It was like, instead of the separation, it's like the healing is causing like the unity. Chiron, wounds, teachings, paradoxes. Chiron is a cosmic enigma. In Greek mythology, he is said to be the rejected son of Saturn, who through the pain of abandonment becomes a great teacher and healer. Such is the paradoxical nature of this minor planet. It demonstrates that our pain is a great resource. It will guide us to our deepest purpose if we are able to observe it slowly, gently, and with support. It's like the message of beauty. It's like being able to see the beauty even amidst the pain and uncertainty, like knowing that there's value, knowing that it can transform you. When the Chiron card appears, know that you are being called to deepen the work, to delve into the tender parts of yourself that require patience and forgiveness. Victim mentality will get you nowhere. Your past blaming. It's time to let your painful experiences serve as a beacon of light to others. Chiron reminds us of where we've been and where that allows us to go. Go deeper. Read the myth of Chiron to ponder the story of your scar. That's interesting. Chiron is a symbol of betwixt and between. Half man, half horse. neither a planet nor a star. Both wounded and healer. In what ways are you paradoxical? Is this part of your strength? Depersonalize your pain by thinking of a person you love and admire. Contemplate their story. How have their wounds served their deeper purpose? Saturn. Structure, authority, consequences. Saturn is known as the great ruler, the authoritative father, and the structuring force. Limitations, rules, logistics, and laws all fall under Saturn's claim, and they insist on our adherence. Saturn constricts. It corrects. It governs. The force of this planet is mind-bogglingly frustrating, especially for creative types, as it can feel like one limitation after another. Yet its ability to support is unmatched. No creative project can come to be without the Saturnian qualities of commitment, endurance, and steadiness. The tick of the clock reminds us of this planet's steadfast presence, eternally measuring. It's no surprise it's associated with the metal lead and the qualities of density and weight. To embrace Saturn is to embrace the foundation and become one's own central authority. You know, it's interesting when we meditate on the tree of life in Kabbalah, it's sort of like this scale, right? There's these three columns on the tree. It's like the right column is mercy, the left column is judgment, and the central column is that column of the ascension of consciousness, the ascension of the soul. So it's like that, that center pillar. It's like when we bring these opposing forces into balance, it's like we strengthen that central pillar. Every time we restrict the desire to receive for the self alone, or pacify the body consciousness for instant gratification, or staying in the comfort zone, or avoiding discomfort or uncertainty, it's like every time we push through that, we heal and we bring to balance and we strengthen that central pillar, which is our connection to divine inspiration and our ability to be an open channel to flow through and express out into the world. To embrace Saturn is to embrace the foundation and become one's own central authority. It's not as dull or easy as it sounds. That's Saturn's secret. Go deeper. Read the poem, The Core of Masculinity by Rumi. To ponder, silence as power. Saturn is deeply related to time and chronology. It is linked to the Greek god Kronos and to Father Time. Consider your relationship with the clock today, and above all, don't be late. Ironically, and to the amusement of anarchists everywhere, the authoritarian energy of Saturn is said to reside in the middle finger. Nice. Okay, and okay. The reddening. Life force, Kundalini, blood. The reddening indicates a full expression of the work. Everything is alive. The heart pumps, the cells celebrate, the blood sings its way through the body. What was dormant has now been awakened. What was once considered base is now noble. Aches and pains are integrated. Shadows are acknowledged and interwoven. When the reddening card appears, it signifies health, power, a climaxing of the work, a coalescing of what has been learned. The laboratory is no longer separate from the alchemist or from the work, but the three are now one. What occurs in the body is reflected in the world and vice versa. Through the process of reddening, we move out of the head and into the physical body. More specifically, we reach the heart. It is there the alchemist finds the sacred ingredients of power and kindness. So I thought that was so interesting. It said that what was dormant has been awakened. It's like, this is like such a moment of spiritual awakening right now. These past couple of months, you know, it's during this high holidays time. Aches and pains are integrated, like the thorn of the flower, the thorn of the rose and the petals and the bloom, right? There's thorn and bloom. They both serve the flower. They're both part of the flower. You know, one isn't good and the other bad. Which somebody was asking me, somebody named Garrett out there was like, what you on about? That's what I imagined. I was like, I think he's English, I think. He's like, what you on about? See parts 1 through 4. He caught like the part 5 of the shorts where I was talking about the associations of the energy today, and the rose is like part of a symbol, I think, and I was talking about it, and like the rose is the symbol of the vessel, creating the vessel, and I don't know, I got sidetracked. So what y'all about? That's what I'm all about. Watch parts 1 through 4 in the shorts. Okay. What you all about? Oh my God. Okay. Specifically in the heart, through the process of reddening, we move out of the head and into the physical body. More specifically, we reach the heart. It is here that the alchemist finds the sacred ingredients of power and kindness. Oh yeah. Okay. So the shadows are, pain is integrated. Shadows are acknowledged and interwoven. And it's like the shadow being interwoven. It's like this pearl of wisdom that keeps showing up. It's like it's being embodied. It's like the interior understanding and the wisdom are being interwoven and expressed in our outward actions now. We're breaking the patterns that are lingering in the subconscious, that are driving us without us understanding, right? It's like we're seeing that now. And the more that we see our subconscious motivators clearly, the less power they have over us, the less influence, right? So even just putting your attention on something in your awareness can do wonders to change it. It's like you shine the light on something and the darkness is obliterated. I mean, just referring to the double slit experiment, it's like when the person is observing the energy being thrown through this lead wall with these slots. It's like when they were trying to see if like light was a wave or a particle, it was like when there was no one observing, they were particles, but like when they were observing, they were coming through as waves. And like the way that they were like thrown through this like metal, and then it like made these like shapes and patterns on this like other side of this wall. That's how they were measuring it. And so they noticed that nothing changed in the experiment other than a person standing there and like watching, not even with expectation, just observing. So then they removed the person and they just put an instrument there to measure the particles and the waves, so to measure the light. Still the same. It was like when it was being watched, even measured, it was reacting differently than it would if it was just left alone and not observed at all. So this is neither here nor there, bad or good. And you know, one doesn't, you know, not like make it something good or bad or guarantee. It's just like our observation, our attention on something has an effect on it. So our intent as we observe, our perception as we observe, all of that begins to create a big stew, right? So think about what you're putting in your mirepoix to flavor that stew. Okay, so go deeper. Read the poem, The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. I'm William Carlos Williams, like how fabulous, I'm a poet. To ponder, The Red of the Heart. Reconnect to physical practices that bring you vitality. It's likely you know which ones that bring a rosy glow to your cheeks and sparkle in your eye. Yeah, I need to be like dancing. I need to go. I haven't like gotten some good runs in recently. Like I've been going on my long walks, but like I haven't had time to do like runs and like dance and all of that. And that's I love being like really active in that way. And then let's see, what does this say? Take note of how many cards in your reading contain the color red. You may sense the physical vitality of the querent by the presence or absence of this life force color. Now, this reading looked very red. You'll be able to see the picture at the end when we roll the credits, but it's like, look at these cards. We've got like this brick poppy. We have the red velvet curtains, the veil, right? We have the red bricks, the red blossoms, they're roses in the dress here. We have the blood, we have the rays of red coming here from the healing of Chiron, right? This is a very red, vital, flush, passionate reading. It's like your inner fire is getting reignited in this awakening, and you're gonna have more clarity and fervor going forward about like who you are, how you want to show up, what you want to create, and what you think about everything. All right. Y'all be good, not too good. Ciao.